a daily trainer with a carbon fibre plate. This is my first impressions review of the PUMA Deviate Nitro 3. Let's go! Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. So today's the first run in the PUMA Deviate Nitro 3, and in the interest of transparency, PUMA did send me these shoes. They sent me these shoes for a review, but they haven't directed me on things to say or what to say, so my thoughts and opinions are my own, and an honest reflection of how the shoe performs. So quite excited to put a daily trainer on my foot that has a carbon fibre plate. In the last few years the running world's kind of moved in that direction. We've all got used to running in those super elite carbon fibre shoes, and more I'm seeing people want to train with that plate in their shoe as well. Now the super shoes coming in at around 250, 200, all the way up to 500 with that kind of prototype shoe from Adidas. Is it called the Evo? But you're looking at a fair chunk of money for a shoe that maybe lasts 100 miles at its best, and then has got 200-300 miles in for other races, maybe a bit of training, bit of speed work afterwards. More and more I think runners are wanting to train in a shoe with a carbon fibre plate, kind of getting used to the carbon fibre feeling, but also to get some of those recovery benefits. It's a little bit easier on the legs, and for the kind of fun of that little extra pop that you get from that plate. Now this is my first time running in a daily trainer that has a carbon fibre plate. Last year PUMA sent me the Deviate Nitro Elite, which is kind of like the slimmed down version of the shoe I'm running in today, and that's more like your race day 5k shoe. Super light, really fun to run in. So the Deviate Nitro 3 is kind of like the companion shoe to the Nitro, the Deviate Nitro Elite. I'm guessing the idea is that you put most of your training miles in these shoes, then kind of do your speed work sessions, and then race your 5k, 10k, half marathon in the Nitro Elite. So for me, a daily trainer needs to be a shoe that's comfortable at that kind of foundation pace, the pace that you're going to be doing most of your running, fairly easy zone 2 work. That's where I'm reaching for a daily trainer, when I'm doing the foundation runs, zone 2, keeping things nice and easy. And then the next thing a daily trainer needs to do is be really comfortable for those long runs. So maybe when you're out for 2, 3, 4, or in case of the ultra marathon block that I'm training for at the moment, 5 hours, where you're just getting a decent amount of stability and comfort for the entire duration of those long runs. Added kind of benefits to a daily trainer. It's handy if they can take on different types of terrain. So right now I'm running on a very hard, almost like tarmac sort of surface that has just a thin layer of hard packed sort of gritty gravel on top. And I'm kind of transitioning back to the road in a second. I also think it's great for daily trainer, can help you through those speed sessions as well. Really, you're looking at an all-rounder shoe, particularly if you're just sort of starting your running journey, maybe in the first couple of years, and you tend to only have one pair of shoes. It's good to have a shoe that can do it all. So just some quick stats about this shoe. We've got a huge slab of Nitro Foam. Pop the stack height on your screen now, and then you've got a 10mm drop down to the forefoot. You've got Puma's traction, they call it Puma grip, which so far on other Puma shoes has just been faultless. And just looking at the upper, we've got a premium, feels like a knitted kind of mesh. Looks pretty light, quite stretchy. It's hugging my forefoot quite tight at the moment. Not in a bad way, just in quite a secure and stable way. And then if we move back to the heel counter, something that I've not seen on a shoe before. You've got a kind of, looks a bit like a stag beetle's kind of nose. Has a heel flare at the back there. I'm guessing that piece of plastic is just to offer this shoe a bit of rigidity, a bit of stability at the back. And the designers have had a bit of fun with. It kind of almost looks like a cowboy boot spur on the back. So today I'm doing that easy kind of foundation zone 2 running. Tomorrow I'm going to be heading to Barnstape parkrun. We're going to do the parkrun, and then we've got a 2-hour long run as well. So I'll take you along with me. I'll give you my full first impressions of the shoe after I've done those 2 crucial workouts in this daily trainer. Morning everybody. So we're just here at Barnstape parkrun for a nice 2.25 to 2.5 hour long run. But parkrun first. And we'll get some decent steady miles under the belt. I'll give you my first impressions review of these shoes, but stick around because I think you're going to be interested in my initial thoughts. Thank you. Alright, so we're just coming up to half marathon distance this morning. So that brings me to about 20 miles in these shoes. Alright, let's start with the grip. As I mentioned yesterday, it's called Puma grip. And I think it's one thing in particular that Puma are really just smashing out the park at the moment. And this shoe's no exception. Fantastic traction, very grippy, and on a range of different surfaces too. So light gritty gravel, mostly tarmac this morning, a few patches of light dry leaves, a couple of gravelly like hard rock paths, and each of those surfaces performed really well. And so far in the other shoes that I've tested, that rubber lasts a really long time. So on the traction front alone, I'll be expecting to get at least 500 miles. Moving up to the midsole, it's very comfortable on your foot when you first get them on and you're walking around in them. Often high stack height carbon plated shoes are particularly unstable at the back, and when you're walking around you can kind of roll over and roll inwards on your ankles a bit. But these are very stable at the back, even whilst running now. Again, with other carbon plated shoes, you can often feel my ankles sort of rolling inwards. These feel very stable, guessing they're helped by that pretty rigid bit of plastic on the heel collar. As for the foam itself, it's a pretty responsive foam. You're not getting huge amounts of pop and return at my fairly slow zone 2 pace. But when you pick up the speed and you want to push it a little bit harder, I just did a couple of miles at parkrun that were a little bit faster than they probably should have been for today. And you can just feel the shoe helping you along. That carbon fibre plate really kicks in, and it feels a lot easier at a higher pace than it would in a non-carbon plate shoes. Notice my heart rate was staying really low, even at around about a 7-minute mile. And generally, when running, there's a kind of medium kind of midsole in terms of firmness. At slower paces, it does feel a bit squishy. When you pick it up, the foam feels to kind of harden up a little bit, to firm up, and you're getting a bit more of that pop from the plate. And now at about an 8-minute mile pace, after about 2 hours, they are starting to feel a little bit sore under my feet, a little bit firm. I think that's just ultra training. I don't think I've had a run this length when my feet haven't felt battered afterwards. And I think because there's a fairly muted propulsion you're getting from that plate and the foam, again, I think it's going to stay at that kind of level for a while. So it will probably last most of the lifetime of the shoe, 400 or 500 miles. I'm getting a feeling that it's going to be pretty consistent. And then coming onto the upper, it's a nice feeling upper, wraps the foot nicely, feels nice and secure. It's a little bit narrow on the forefoot, so the outside of my big toe is touching that side, and then kind of all the way through to the right hand side of my foot. It's also touching the side, so it's quite tight. I suspect it will loosen up like most knitted uppers do after 50 miles or so, and it will be kind of like that slipper kind of feel. In terms of its breathability, it's feeling pretty good, and again, feels and looks durable. So there isn't an element of this shoe really that I don't think is going to last the course. And the lacing feels pretty good. So this morning I put my kind of traditional runner's lacing, which uses a bit more lace, uses those top 2 holes, and the laces did come up a bit short, so I think I'll need to adjust those because my loops are about that big this morning, but that's been fine. I haven't had to do them up or anything, and at the moment there isn't a lot of pressure on the top of my foot. It feels pretty nice. Now, with a lot of carbon plated shoes, as I mentioned earlier, you really can find it quite difficult to kind of hold back on the pace front, because they really do want to kind of push you forward. And I was wondering what this would be like in a daily trainer, and there's only been a couple of times where I've picked up the pace and they felt like they wanted to go. Other than that though, for most of the 20 miles I put in them, they seem really happy to be going slow. Yeah, so far they seem pretty happy to plod along in zone 2 paces, be quite happy to go to zone 1 in them, and I think that comes down to the stability again. So overall, really happy with the shoe. Over the 4 or 5 pairs of PUMA trainers I've tested now, really happy with what they're doing. It's really hard to kind of pick faults. There's sort of one thing I'm noticing on the last pair I've been running in a lot recently, and that's the velocity free. It's the kind of big sort of bum chin on the back of the heel. If you're someone like me who often sort of steps on the back of the heel to take the shoes off after a run, The glue on that is just starting to break up, but then I looked at how many miles I've been doing. It's 400 miles, nearly 500, and they're still holding roots together really well. Really love this colourway in particular. Really nice to kind of look down, and they're so vivid. Kind of reminds me of being on the playground as a kid. Bright shoes equals fast shoes. But yeah, I can really easily see them being a daily training companion, whether really for whatever distance you're training for. I'll be interested to see what my legs feel like tomorrow after running so long in carbon plated shoes. And we've got another long run coming up tomorrow, another 2 hours or so. So it'd be interesting if I feel any of those recovery benefits or not. In my size UK 7.5, they're coming in at 260 grams, which is a little bit on the heavier side of what I like. 240, 250 is my usual sort of go-to for a daily trainer. But with this much foam and the carbon fibre plate, it's going to be hard to keep that weight down. And they don't feel like a heavy shoe. I think because you're getting that much more propulsion from the plate and the foam. And I've got a feeling the weight's adding a little bit to the stability as well. Right, glad to get that in the bag. 16 miles on pretty tired legs. It's the last tough week of the ultra training, and now we've got a 2-week taper until a 24-hour race. So looking forward to reducing the mileage a little bit. But yeah, overall really happy with the shoe. Really enjoyed first running them yesterday, and then the first sort of hour of today, and then I think just my legs and my feet got a bit tired, and I think it was just this run in general was quite muggy today and close, so started to not enjoy it so much in the last hour or so. But I don't think that had anything to do with the shoes. I think they're going to retail at around about 170, maybe 180 pounds. So up there with some of the more expensive shoes. Puma do quite heavily discount their shoes from time to time as well though, so look out for that if it's a bit on the pricey side for you. This particular colourway I think is a limited edition, so I think the shoes go on sale 1st of July, and they'll be available in this colourway first before coming out in different styles later on. But yeah, overall really happy with the shoe. Looking forward to putting in hundreds of miles in them. I think after this weekend I'll take them to Hope with me, and even though that's like it is a trail surface, a lot of field, a lot of very mixed terrain stuff to run on, I think they'll do just fine, and they're so comfy, and you get a little bit of help from that carbon fibre plate as well. I think for at least 3 to 6 hours or so they're going to be just fine for Hope. I'm taking a few pairs with me, and then I'm thinking sort of every 3 to 6 hours I'll change them out. Yeah, I think these will be on my feet. If you got this far to the video, thanks for watching. Click on the subscribe button. Just narrowing in on nearly finishing building the studio and garage office that I've been working on for the last sort of 18 months or so. That's why I haven't been putting out very many videos, but once that's done I'll get back to normal. Still got London Marathon videos to put out there, as well as the Eden Project Marathon last October. All filmed, lots of video and content in the can, just a case of getting around to editing it. There's every sort of spare moment at the moment I'm building this studio. But here we go. Yeah, thanks again, thanks for watching, and until the next one, be the best you.